what's up you guys, this is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Quick Draw, we literally have to make our own friends when we take a look at the sad Synoid Heliocor. Now, it would be a lie if I didn't say that I saw this coming like a mile away, because frankly, with the release of the incredibly powerful Heliocor, people were very quick to say, well, what's the point of putting Forma into this when the Synoid version is just gonna be even more powerful? Y'all had to just jinx that, didn't you? Regardless, I took this as an opportunity to do some research on channeling weapons, as it's not something I'm particularly well versed in, because as we know, this is bad, but exactly how bad is it? Now, you can pick up the Synoid Heliocor for 125,000 standing after you reach rank 5 with Cephalon Suda. Just be aware that it does require Mastery rank 9 for its acquisition. However, if you are just as paranoid as I am that she is secretly plotting to recycle you into a big sentient glowing box of energy, you can always take your chances with the equally vicious trade chat. Now, the Synoid Heliocor's primary damage type is impact with a little bit of puncture and a tiny bit of slashing. This makes it perfect against all forms of Corpus shielding, but does have some trouble against both Corpus and Grineer flesh. So as always, be sure you're using the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. Now, as we know, the original Heliocor was a crit-based monster, sporting the highest base damage and second highest crit chance in its category. A lot of us wondered exactly how DE was going to top it with its imminent Syndicate version. And I guess we all know how that worked out. As compared to its original, it's got 20 less base damage and 15% less critical chance. On the other hand, it does have a faster attack speed, jumping from 0.833 up to 1.08, an increased status chance that was bumped from 2.5% up to 20%, and of course its increased channeling damage, which now sits at 1.8. Now, after a bit of analysis, the base damage combined with the attack speed actually works in favor of the Synoid Heliocor, but what really hurts it is the extreme loss of crit chance without being compensated nearly enough in channeling damage. As we all know, the Heliocor tops out at a 3.8 times critical multiplier. While combining Corrupted Charge with Killing Blow, the Synoid Singular's channeling multiplier only maxes out at 3.4 times, which kinda pales in comparison when considering the fact that the Heliocor can effectively use Blood Rush, and channeling for the Synoid Heliocor's damage bonus costs energy. Now, as for its unique Syndicate effect, it still retains the original scan on kill ability that the Heliocor has. Just remember that it does require you to have either a Codex or Synthesis scanner equipped in your gear slot, and does not provide you with Samara standing. As for the new addition to its kit, anytime you land a kill while channeling your weapon, you'll create a specter of the enemy you've slain for 30 seconds. Note that you can only have one specter out at any given time, so be sure to choose the most interesting enemy you can find, because that is the only way I can really feel good about using this weapon. Personally, I am a big fan of the Hayaka Masters because those extra cats are fucking fantastic and stick around longer than the actual specter itself, which tends to drive everybody else on the squad crazy, as well as Grineer Hellions, because you can pretend like it's a really ugly Pharaoh raining justice from above. Now, speaking of specter-like illusions, can we talk? Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I really wanted channeling to be a thing. I wanted to crunch the numbers and discover how the multiplier made up for the deficit. I wanted to stumble on the alternative to crit builds and blow your mind because it's just not something that we've seen before. And literally, it turned out to be a big old bottle of kombucha. Now, for those of you who don't know, kombucha is this tea that is slightly fermented and has this clump of what is known as tea fungus sitting in it. I know it sounds gross, but apparently it's supposed to be amazing for you, even if scientists haven't managed to find that it actually provides any health benefits whatsoever. Now, because I live in a very hippy-dippy part of California, I figured I'd give it a shot, and 5 flavors later, I can attest that it's just like fucking moldy tea. And I tried to like it, I really did. Just like the channeling weapons, I wanted it to be a thing really badly, but it's just like all of the other hippy-dippy shit that I've tried. It just doesn't fly. It's just like tantric sex. Everybody rants and raves about the orgasm you have after 4 hours of this intensely spiritual sex. But in reality, I could have had 4 perfectly fine orgasms in that time without nearly tearing a muscle to get into all those adventurous bullshit positions. But more importantly, I could have had 2 perfectly fine orgasms, cleaned myself up, and gotten some Chipotle. Fuck mixing my spirituality with sex. I will watch a sermon online while I enjoy my extra sour cream. After my other sour cream, thank you very much. Now, after that really odd mix of what I can accomplish in 4 hours, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, I am quite sad to say that the Synoid Heliocor was a bit of a flop. The extra channeling damage was nice, but it didn't put it on par with the damage output that the original Heliocor could with the appropriate mix of mods, especially not when you consider the fact that you're going to have to spend energy in order to fuel its bonuses. Now, some may possibly argue that the added damage output from your Spectre should help compensate, but let's face it, the AI just isn't smart enough to be a meaningful presence on the battlefield. Now, to add more fuel to the shame fire, unlike its other Syndicate counterparts, it does not come with an innate polarity, which, to be honest with you, isn't the worst thing in the world because I highly doubt too many people are going to be maxing this out. I mean, let's face it, even DE knew that this thing would have to make its own friends. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you haven't already caught it, be sure to check out my previous videos on the Helicor Sidon and the Safety Magistar. Now don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these. And as always, while a quality orgasm is good, so is a mouthful of sour cream. Especially here at A Gay Guy Plays. It seems like someone is a little jealous that I have yet to cover their weapon. Maybe if you didn't make such a buggy weapon, I would cover you a little quicker.